For years now, people have been begging Valve to fix Team Fortress 2, a game that is currently plagued by a bot infestation that for many has rendered the game as good as unplayable. The bots are simply too disruptive for this to be sustainable in the long term, and people are baffled that Valve would not jump at the opportunity to fix this game that continues to be incredibly popular. I mean, just look at recent player numbers, 24-hour peak of 82,825 as of the recording of this video. This is, I mean, a great percentage of retention from the all-time peak of 150,000. And we're talking about a game that launched. Steam charts doesn't even tell the full story because the game came out back in 2007. This is a 15-year-old game, and yet we're seeing numbers this strong. How is Valve not on top of updates and fixes and just really bolstering this game where they can? I'm not saying that bot infestations are easy to fix, but when it's been 2 years and there's been so little communication, so little back and forth, and so few signs that they're working on it, people are going to start getting frustrated. Plenty of players who love this game don't want to see it die off because Valve just refuses to fix a problem that is rendering the game moot. And you can see just how long this issue has been going on for. Here's an article from back in June of 2020, almost 2 years ago, that reads, Team Fortress 2's bot wars continue as Valve steps in again, but hacking and voice chat problems persist. A few months later, this article came out on September 4th, 2020. The Team Fortress 2 community is fighting bots with bots. Another article reporting on this came out a month later on October 13th, 2020, titled Meet the Guy Fixing Team Fortress 2's Bot Problem with More Bots. Next up, this is 2021 now, March 31st. Valve is still letting bots invade one of its longest running games. Team Fortress 2 has been nearly unplayable for over 9 months. This was back in 2021. The problem has only gotten worse since. The following month, on April 12th, Eurogamer published this article. Team Fortress 2 bots now advertising paid-for bot immunity services and links claiming to provide. Yeah, you can read this for yourself. Pretty awful stuff. Then 2 months later, we got this report from June 24th, 2021. Team Fortress 2 update takes aim at the game's bot problem, but whatever they tried ultimately proved to be ineffective, as reported here by GameRant on June 24th. Team Fortress 2 players report bots are back the day after the update that was supposed to fix it. Then the following month, on July of 2021, we got this article where players managed to triumph against bots this one time, I guess, by forming a conga line or something, but they shouldn't have to resort to such methods to fight off bots that shouldn't exist in the game, as this is a game that should be played among players, and there's plenty of them still being loyal to this game that Valve isn't being as loyal to. And that finally brings us to 2022. In a recent video, I discussed this article from Kotaku published on May 17th, 2022. Team Fortress 2 players beg Valve to acknowledge the game's bot problem. A big part of the frustration comes from the fact that Valve has not been communicating, so it's not even a matter of, man, why are these updates taking so long? Why are fixes for this bot infestation taking so long? It's a matter of, are they even working on this, given that they're not really telling us anything? And the bot issue really is quite severe, from them having perfect aim with snipers, not allowing players to properly play the game, to bots sending horrible messages by spamming the voice and text chat, to bots even disguising themselves as legitimate players so that real players will think these legitimate players are bots and get them kicked out. This problem has been unacceptably persisting now, and there's been a new wave of backlash. You got YouTuber SquimJim, who does Team Fortress 2 content, speaking out about this in a video that got quite a number of views. You got major news outlets like IGN reporting on this as well. Team Fortress 2 players are protesting the game's massive bot problem. And indeed, people have taken to contemplating organizing protests like this post on Reddit and this Twitter post, which feature the exact same message that states, do you remember in 2011, Half-Life fans protested in front of Valve HQ for Half-Life 3? They were at least heard, and they even talked with Valve. Perhaps the Team Fortress 2 community should do the same. The community is desperate enough that they're even going to voice actors, begging them to contact somebody at Valve to see if they can do something about this. One of the voice actors, Robin Atkin-Downs, who plays the medic, responded by saying that I hear you and I don't work at Valve, but I'll try to reach out and see what I can do. And this is the most support the Team Fortress 2 community has gotten, and it's not from Valve directly, really, and this garnered almost 40,000 likes and went viral. Which finally brings us to the latest story surrounding Team Fortress 2. There have been contemplations of protesting, and now that contemplation has become action. You can see right here that this Reddit poster is organizing a social media protest with the hashtag #SaveTeamFortress2. The headline reads, "Let's all get together and save Team Fortress 2." And just looking above the title, you can see the amount of support that this post, this thread, this initiative has gotten. Aside from the sheer number of paid-for awards, the number of upvotes is sitting at almost 40,000 already. People are in full support of this, and May 26th was yesterday, and the goal is essentially to get the hashtag #SaveTeamFortress2 trending in a respectful but hopefully disruptive enough way to draw Valve's attention so that maybe they'll give us some kind of response. New Salad Eurogamer goes into further details here about this peaceful protest designed to raise awareness of the state of the game. This protest, posted on Reddit, garnered more than 2,000 comments and an eye-catching 1,000 Reddit paid-for awards, even more if we do the math now and count those numbers, no doubt. The protest aims to get hashtag #SaveTeamFortress2 trending worldwide on Twitter and other social media today, May 26th. Success, the protest organizers say, means showing how the aging game still retains its popularity. The post then highlights the quote featured on the image that represents this protest, and we can read it right here for ourselves. Team Fortress 2 means so much to so many. The community has gone through a lot, but now Team Fortress 2 is in an unplayable state. We creators have decided to unite and share our love and care for Team Fortress 2. Will you join us? Indeed, this isn't just something that a bunch of Redditors are organizing. A bunch of content creators are getting involved and are trying to get this movement going. Content creators who, aside from the fact that so much of their livelihood comes from this game that is still thriving, actually genuinely enjoy and love this game and don't want to see it go down in flames just because Valve is neglecting it when there's still so much life left in this game. Again, look at the player numbers. That's incredibly rare for a 15-year-old game. Now, the protest organizers are emphasizing that this is ultimately meant to be a peaceful and positive protest. The protesters insist that the community should not send hate to developers at Valve. The protest organizers have asked fans to keep things positive because ultimately they're trying to present a positive representation for the community. They want to show Valve that they love this game, not that they hate Valve or anything. So organizer Short Pink wrote on Reddit, "This will be a very peaceful protest, just reminding everyone that we love this game. Please don't send hate towards Valve, etc. We'll be representing the TF2 community, so let's do it right." I really like the way this is being approached. There certainly can be lines that can be crossed amidst high emotions. It's understandable that people have attachments to, these video games that mean so much to them, but there comes a point where they start delving into harassment, violence, and death threat territory, and that's completely ineffective. It adds nothing to the conversation, and it just makes the community look deranged. So the fact that they're leaning towards a still disruptive, but ultimately peaceful and positive way of communicating and trying to get Valve's attention, I think will serve them well in the long term, and I think is the right approach to take. Though the longer Valve remains quiet, the more disruptive these protests are going to get, as people know that the game doesn't need to go out like this, and know that Valve have more than enough manpower and resources and money to be able to support the game far better than they've been doing so far, to give this game the respect and loyalty that fans and players have given it. Now, the good news is that this protest worked. That very same day, on May 26, 2022, Team Fortress 2, for the first time in 2 years, tweeted something, and it was a direct response to protests surrounding the neglection of Team Fortress 2. TF2 community, we hear you, we love this game, and know you do too. Could have fooled us. We see how large this issue has become and are working to improve things. You can already see the massive amount of support this tweet garnered, which once again highlights how many people love this game, how thriving this game still is. Over 200,000 upvotes in one day. Utterly insane. And at the very least, the community can breathe a sigh of relief knowing that complaints have been acknowledged, but there's still some doubts as to whether Valve will really get on this and resolve this in a timely fashion, given that we have gone so long with such poor communication. Is that going to change from here on out? Are they going to take this issue seriously in a way that they haven't these past 2+ years. I mean, how crazy is it that this incredibly thriving game, its last social media communication was 2 years, almost 2 years before this tweet right here finally acknowledging the issue. Plenty of people still find it unacceptable that after 2 years, we only have an acknowledgement instead of a full fix and then some at this stage. But with all said and done, this is certainly better than nothing. There is some response, and it would seem as though protests served to be disruptive enough that Valve was eventually forced to be like, all right, we can't neglect and ignore this any longer. We should probably do something and put out this fire before it gets any bigger. And the hope is that sooner rather than later, they'll find some long-term solutions, or at the very least work on some short-term solutions that can help mitigate the problem before finishing the long-term solution that could resolve this issue for the most part outright. Not every solution is going to be 100% perfect, but it's like at the very least, we need to see that they're making the attempt, which just hasn't been the case these last 2 years. So we'll see whether this communication is legitimate, whether they mean what they say here about we see how large this issue has become and are working to improve things, or whether this is something that they'll post to provide some short-term alleviation among the community and then proceed to just ignore this issue for another 2 years. Certainly hope that's not the case. Fingers crossed. This game is too good, too popular, and there's just too much potential still left, too much fuel left still in the gas tank for Valve to let it go out in a whimper. I'll keep you guys updated on further developments. In the meantime, though, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on the way the Team Fortress 2 community handled protest, the way that the Team Fortress 2 official Twitter page responded. Do you think it's good enough for now? Do you expect that they're going to start taking this issue more seriously, or do you expect that attention towards this game is going to fizzle out over time like it has in the past? Are you more optimistic, more pessimistic about Team Fortress 2 being fixed and being made playable again? Share all of your thoughts in the comments below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.